Welcome back to the Mr. I1 YouTube channel. If you're interested in personalized patrilineal analysis and having a video created regarding your direct patrilineal line, consider becoming a Patreon member. There is a link in the description of this video. Fascinating new ancient I1 sample mentioned in the recently released preprint. Ancient genomics support deep divergence between Eastern and Western Mediterranean Indo-European languages. The sample was discovered on the north coast of the island of Cyprus in the Eastern Mediterranean. To quote the preprint, quote, additionally, there is genetic evidence of long-distance interaction with Northern Europe, as seen in a Scandinavian genetic outlier, CGG_2_022535, from a rock-cut tomb at Vunas Balapais, excavated by the Swedish Cyprus expedition and dated to circa 4000 to 3800 before present. This outlier clusters with Scandinavian Bronze Age individuals, and intriguingly, this origin is also supported by the Y haplogroup I1 and by a non-local, highly radiogenic strontium isotope signature compatible with some parts of Scandinavia, end quote. Based on this data, I feel the best explanation for this ancient I1 individual is having some association with the flourishing Baltic amber trade during the late Neolithic and early Bronze Age. Amber was sourced in the Baltic Sea region and then traded all over Europe, including the Mediterranean, where it was fashioned into fancy jewelry. Why was this ancient I1 individual discovered on the north coast of Cyprus, out of all places in Europe and the Mediterranean? To quote the preprint, quote, Cyprus is an island rich in copper, the most fundamental component of bronze. The archaeological evidence from the island shows that the copper mineral was abundantly exploited and that local communities were able to engage in large-scale trade and long-distance exchanges with the whole Eastern Mediterranean and beyond, end quote. In the following map, you can see the locations of copper deposits on the island of Cyprus, represented by the green dots, one of which is not too far from the location where this ancient I1 individual was discovered on the north coast. What more can we learn about this fascinating ancient I1 individual? To quote the preprint, quote, according to Hiorzo, the skull belonged to a male of approximately 30 years. Fisher defined the find as belonging to a male adult of circa 18 to 20 years, end quote. Regardless of who is right, this was definitely a young man in the prime of his life. To further quote the preprint in regards to this ancient individual, quote, seem to have originated in a region corresponding to modern-day Sweden, confirmed by the evidence of the strontium isotopes, end quote. It's no surprise that he most likely grew up in modern-day Sweden, considering the haplogroup I1 most likely originated in modern-day Sweden. And modern-day Sweden still has the highest rates of haplogroup I1 anywhere. What a fascinating voyage and adventure this young man took part in. He must have had some of that same courage and sense of adventure we would see several millennia later with the Vikings. Thanks for watching.